Just trying to check if I'm audible and the screen as well is visible clearly to everyone. Okay, great. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the introduction of Power Platforms, which is we will only be covering Power Automate and Power Apps as an introduction in this introductory session that we all have joined today for. I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Karthik. I am one of the trainer, and I've been working on Microsoft products for more than a decade now. Started with Microsoft 365, then Microsoft Azure, and I also have been into Microsoft's Power Platform for a few years now. So that's pretty much about me. I'll quickly take you through the few introductory slides. Again, the way I said, this is just the introduction to what we are going through for the first one, which will be introduction to Power Apps, and then we will ensure we also have a good look at introduction to Power Automate. So these are the two topics that we are planning to cover in this close to an hour session that we all have joined for. So moving on to the first topic itself, which is introduction to Power Apps that we do have here. In this particular module that we do see here, we will talk about a few things, and they are learn what Power Apps is and what is its business value. Then how exactly one of the world's largest airport, which is I'll let you know the name as well in some time, how they uh, went digitizing the entire process with the help of Power Apps. And third, how exactly Power Apps would be in action. And we'll also talk about some options on making the first kind of Power Apps that we have available here. So these are few small topics. Let's quickly dive into the details. First one is, what exactly is Power Apps and what can it do for us? Now, if you do have insufficient or inefficient or legal or legacy business processes that you think you would like to modernize, or let's say you still would want to have moving information around using papers, or even let's say a shared Excel workbook. Do you want to maybe have an ability to perform these business processes, which we have from different devices? Now, this could be your PC, mobile devices. In all these situations, you would go ahead and ensure you use the Power Apps. So they are low code, or you can say no code, both of them. I mean, low code and no code kind of a platform for building apps of the concept that are similar to formulas that's available in your Excel workbook, such as sum and text. So you will be able to use Power Apps to build simple solutions, like maybe vehicle inspection forms, and the status report for them, or any business complex solution which might include processing and inventory management as well. So if you try to envision an app to solve a business problem, then you can use your existing skills to be able to build it with the help of Power Apps for sure. Although over here we just are trying to have a look at this at a fundamental level, um, we will understand the two different types of apps that we have available in terms of Power Apps. The first one definitely is a Canvas app. Um, Now, what is Canvas app? This is typically the kind of app that most of the people think of when they hear about Power Apps. Now, Canvas app will easily let you design and will easily let you build business apps without writing any code in a traditional programming language such as C Sharp, Java, or Python. You will be able to design the app by dragging and dropping the elements onto a particular canvas, just as you would try to put them together in a PowerPoint slide. So the way you add all the content to your PowerPoint slide and your presentation is ready, the similar way Power Canvas app would work. wherein all you need to do is drag and drop the element onto the canvas, and your app is ready. And that's the reason, if you remember, I just mentioned few minutes ago, Power Apps is a low code or no code kind of a solution that you will be able to create and develop for your environment. Now, Canvas app would also allow you to connect to multiple data sources in a single application, which will provide you with greater flexibility depending upon where your data exists. So you can typically represent a use case or maybe a scenario in an app, such as maybe incident reporting, employee onboarding, or any fundraising that you are trying to work with. So these are few things that you easily will be able to achieve with the help of a Canvas app. You can typically share your app as well with the users in the organization, and you can run this literally anywhere, be it in the browser or your mobile device. You can get this integrated with your SharePoint, Power BI, Teams application, and exactly because of which you will be able to get a seamless experience for your Canvas app, literally on any platform of device that you are working on. Um, they are supported on browsers, they are supported on mobile devices, because we do have an app available for mobile, using which you easily can ensure you access these apps without any problems. So that's what is a Canvas app. Now, again, what is Canvas app? It's a simple app which you will be able to create by dragging and dropping the elements onto your canvas. And when we say canvas, this is something a canvas just might look like, kind of a page where you will be adding all the elements that you would want your app should be able to work on, or should be able to solve your issues or queries. The second type of app that we do have is model driven app. Now, when we talk about model driven app, this app design is a kind of an approach that will try to primarily focus on adding components such as forms, views, multiple charts, dashboards, and tables as well, with the help of specific tools. Now, you also will be able to add additional relationship between multiple connected tables, so that you can get the kind of data that you are looking for, and you don't have to use or you don't have to create the data multiple times and repeat the data unnecessarily. Now, model driven app, if you look at the difference, right over here, it just is a normal kind of an app, just does not have any additional information, just a simple canvas. But when we get into model driven app, you do have a lot of information, like dashboard, any fundraiser activity that you're going for, and maybe you would want to visualize multiple things in a form of a chart. So there will be forms available, views available, different kind of views available, a different set of dashboard to the tables. So with the help of app designer, and again, this is either little or no code kind of a solution, you easily can ensure you build either a simple or very complex apps as well. Now, model driven app, these are especially well suited to some process driven situations that are heavily dependent on your data. And they also make it extremely easy for the users to move between the related records. For an example, let's say if you're building an app to be able to manage a complex process, such as onboarding a new employee or managing a sales process, such as it would also include maybe a member relationship within the organization, such as a bank. So these are a few situations where you think, I mean, you will be able to use the model driven apps to uh, be created and used in the organization, because these all are heavily dependent on tables, data, which will be related to each other, and exactly because of which, in that situation, model driven app would meet the need in these scenarios. Now, they are called as model driven app. It is often easier to maybe think on them as data model driven app, because they are heavily dependent on data. And when we say they are heavily dependent on data, they actually derive or they fetch all the information related to the data within Microsoft's Dataverse. Now, what exactly is Microsoft's Dataverse? This is the backbone. Whenever you create an instance of a Power Platforms in the cloud, that is, whenever you purchase a subscription for Power Platforms or Power Apps or Power Automate, you get to select an environment. Now, once you select an environment, that's where you will be able to create Microsoft's Dataverse. So Microsoft's Dataverse is nothing, just it's kind of a database that will be available in the backend where you will be able to create all your tables and store your data. And model driven app is the one which will try to fetch the data from your database, which is officially termed as Microsoft's Dataverse. So that is how you have two different types of apps available when we are trying to work with the capabilities, which is first is a Canvas app, which you've already seen over here. And second is your model driven app. And if in case we would want to differentiate these two different types of apps, the differentiation definitely is visible on the screen. But let's also try to talk about this in a little bit of details here, which is differentiating both the types of apps that we do have available. Now, in terms of which should be selected while working on the apps, should we go for Canvas app or should we select model driven app? The high level comparison between the two definitely is mentioned over here. The first one, which talks about what is its data source. Is this data source for Canvas app? For model app, it definitely is Dataverse driven because your data that is available in Dataverse is fetched. Because if you remember, it is data model driven app that you generally are creating. So this is definitely Dataverse driven and has heavy dependency on Dataverse. But Canvas app can be connected to any external data source as well. So it is not Dataverse driven. What is the app's purpose? So whenever you are trying to maybe work on some tasks or some screen focused app, if that's what you're trying to create, then you can definitely go for Canvas app. But the another one, which is some process specific app that you are maybe trying to look for, that is onboarding an employee or relating the employees within the organization. So when it's a process driven app, that's when you can go for a model driven app for sure. Um, what kind of user interface do you think you will go ahead and get? You can create custom UI the way you want it. Um, but over here in model driven app, it is responsive for sure, but the UI will be consistent throughout the app because you would be creating this inside the app designer, which will provide you with a uniform UI for all the pages. You do get device integration literally with any device. It can go ahead and be used in. This can easily get embedded with any kind of data source. So these are few features that Canvas app has. But in terms of model driven app, I mean, you will be able to go ahead and look at data relationship because the way I said, this is again heavily data driven. So that's what it will go ahead and provide you with. Security aspect, security plays a very important role. Now, when we talk about security and administration in the Power platforms, you will be able to go ahead and see that there is a lot of importance that's given to security. And if you are trying to maybe work with driving business values, then you would need to understand that a person or a user who is trying to create the app is the one who will have access to it. Other users just might not be able to go ahead and access the app unless it's shared with them or they've been granted some sort of permission by the administrator. So that's how you will be able to decide in what scenario or situation which app you would be looking for. Ideally, Canvas app, where you think you would want to create maybe a simple task-based or screen-focused based apps. That's when you will go for Canvas. And if it's a backend process, or maybe a kind of a defined process, business process that you are trying to create, and in that situation, it definitely can be a model-driven app. Let us try to also get a further good understanding on a few things, which is related to one of the case study. If you remember, I did mention that we have one of the customer, and that is actually the Heathrow airport that we have available here as an example. So Heathrow airport is the one which transformed a lot of things out of the normal Power Apps scenario. Let me quickly see if there is something that I can go ahead and provide you as more information for sure, which will definitely, uh, there it is. I just am trying to get this thing played over here. Okay, this will definitely let you know how things went for primarily the Heathrow airport. I just am sharing the sound as well, and let's get this played.
My name is Sam Saini, and I'm a IT user adoption specialist at Heathrow. I've been a security officer for 13 years. Being a security officer, you didn't know that you could come to IT without a degree or skills. You need some kind of talent or knowledge or experience. That's how I felt. I started to learn Power Apps, and I thought, why doesn't no one know this? This is just amazing. I felt like I found the greatest secret ever, because this could have so much potential to change so many things. I want to make an impact or make a difference to helping passengers to have the best journey that they can have. The first app that I created was a language app that we use at Heathrow to help translate to passengers who aren't able to speak English. It was such an easy way to convert a catalog into an app within weeks. As an international airport, you want to help give the best service. That's why I created the special assistant app that helps us identify how we can give our reduced mobility passengers the best service we can. PowerApps enabled me to do a lot of things, but the great thing about it is it made me feel smart. It's changed my life completely. Like I couldn't imagine being in IT, especially with the skills I had before. But the skills I have now, I feel like a big part of the team, and I'm making not just a living, but a difference, and I'm learning every single day. And I feel like I've got such a passion for it now that my thirst for knowledge would not stop. With these Power Apps, we have saved £700 a month, 280 hours of manual input data, and 11,000 sheets of paper. Basically, we get to save a tree. It doesn't matter if you're a security officer or security manager, we've got this powerful tool that anybody can use and create and learn from. If I can create this app, you can create it too.
If you look at this, that's how a security officer from Heathrow Airport was able to create multiple Power Apps. If you heard him saying, he mentioned he had no understanding of IT, but then the first app that they were able to develop in the international airport was the language app, which could translate the non-English speaking people and give them guidance on maybe where exactly they should go for. So that's how Power Apps has changed the life of Heathrow Airport. So that huge is the advantage that if you think of a problem which you would want to maybe go and get it solved using a small app, rather than being a manual catalog, you can definitely look for Power Apps in that situation. So this is what we had in terms of the first and the small capability that I just wanted to discuss, which is Power Apps. I'll just maybe quickly pause for a minute here to see if you have any questions, which you can maybe add them in the chat. I'll try my best to go ahead and get those answered for sure. But then that's what was basic introduction about the Microsoft's Power Apps. All right. Let's try to move on. Let us try to get into the second thing that we have here, which is the Power Automate. Now, what exactly is Power Automate, and how exactly this can change your life within the organization, is something that we'll try to get a good understanding of. Again, it's an overview that we have here, which is Power Automate overview, where we will try to have a look at two small things. One is how the business values and features would work for Power Automate, and how Power Automate works and looks from the user's perspective. So these are two small things which we will try to have a look at, right? And then maybe I'll try to get further good understanding for sure. Now, you may have previously known Power Automate, or maybe if you've heard of something called as Microsoft Flow, that is the same thing which is Power Automate now. So in the year 2019, in the month of October, that is October 2019, Microsoft Flow was renamed to Power Automate to better convey the fact these services about more than just creating workflows. And you will see that you still use Power Automate to create flows, but then the legacy content around Microsoft Flow was transformed into Power Automate. Now, what exactly you can do with the help of Power Automate? Now, again, do you find maybe, let's say, downloading your email attachments and then uploading a file to a particular database? If that's what you're doing, which is a manual step, you don't really have to do that anymore. Power Automate is here to go ahead and help you. Um, does the process of getting a new purchase order approved involve you to maybe take a form from desk to desk to go ahead and get it signed off? Even in this situation, Power Automate can go ahead and definitely help you. Do you have to log into a website every morning, maybe find a daily numbers, and then save those into another system? This also can be achieved with the help of Power Automate. So Power Automate is all about having computer managed repetitive tasks. So Power Automate would allow anyone with the knowledge of basic business process to create a repeatable flow. That is, when it gets triggered, it would leap into the respective action and will perform the entire process for sure. Now, few common scenarios that you will see the Power Automate is going with, or is performing, is that they've mentioned over here, which is automating the repetitive tasks, like maybe moving data from one system to another, guiding a user through a particular process so that they can complete the entire different stages, connecting to your external data source, maybe through one of the hundreds of connectors that are already available, or directly through API as well. Automating your desktop-based processes with robotic process automation, RPA capabilities. So these are few things that we do have available, that we have made it possible with the help of Power Automate that we do have here. Right now, one of the example that you will see over here is, let's say, someone receives an email, right? The email will trigger the AI-based forms to check if it actually has maybe some sort of an attachment. Now, that attachment gets sent to a manager for your approval, right? The conditions will be checked. If approved, then the customer is notified. Sorry, if uh, you would need to go ahead and further look into it, then and the approval is done, then the customer is notified that it is approved. If the check does not pass, then the customer receives a notification that the invoice maybe is denied. So all of it can easily be done without single human intervention. At any given point of time, let's say if you would want this to be automated throughout the entire time within one particular department, you can go ahead and get such Power Automate workflows created, so that you don't really have to worry about these getting um, manually looked at, and at the same time getting all of these processed. without any human errors. So that's what the Power Automate ensures that it provides you with. Now, in terms of few capabilities, which is, I mean, manual, repetitive, and error-prone tasks are a drag on the strategic thinking, which is needed to drive the entire business forward, right? To improve your business processes, organization would always need one of the efficient way to scale your automation across the entire organization. Now, some of the ways that they can do this is with the help of Power Automate, which is by using Microsoft's cloud services and a combination of digital process automation and robotic process automation in one single automated platform, which is Power Automate. What are a few key capabilities that Power Automate has? It's an automate legacy software which uses bots and screen scraping without any APIs, and it's kind of a SaaS, that is software as a service based robotic process automation that is available for you. You can automate across your widely used first and third party apps and services. At the moment, I mean, if you would need a number, you can work on up to 275 services. And these services can be Microsoft services, and they can also be some third party services as well. And all of it without any API. And Microsoft Power Automate is an end-to-end platform for data integration across on-premises software and cloud services as well. You easily will be able to ensure that you integrate your data from Dataverse to get any holistic view across your business and your user accounts without any problems. You natively can integrate it with Microsoft's 3 largest cloud services. And when I say 3 largest cloud services, first is Microsoft's Azure, second is Microsoft 365, and third is Dynamics 365. So just because Power Platforms in the backend uses Azure and Microsoft Entra ID, you easily will be able to interact with all the other dependent services that Microsoft offers in the cloud space. You easily will be able to capitalize on cost-effective pricing for individuals and teams that would scale up to your needs. Now, DPA, which is digital processing automation, this also enables everyone to do their job without having to wait for some information or request any additional access. So these are few things that you will be able to ensure you achieve with the help of the Power Automate that we do have available. Now, this is how you can go and ensure you get the respective needs that you are looking for. Now, one of the simplest example that maybe you can try to achieve with the help of Power Automate is a purchase order approval, right? So let's say in Power Automate, you do have your uh, app which talks about the purchase approval. You will be able to add these steps. So from Power Apps, fetch the details which would talk about getting the manager's information from whom the approval needs to be initiated, right? So you will be able to go ahead and start and wait for an approval that is assigned through a mail, that is approve or reject, which is the first to respond. And then the user will be waiting for the manager to go ahead and provide the approval, or uh, they either approve or they can go ahead and reject it as well. Now, when you are asking for manager's approval, if it's a no from the manager, you can go ahead and send an email stating not approved, or you will be able to see if the check is maybe over 10,000 uh, dollars, just as an example, right? Then you will go ahead and say if it's a yes, then it will go for vice president's approval, that is adding additional row, that is if yes. If no, then maybe it's less than $10,000. Then if the manager has the capability, it'll just approve, and once email is approved, it will go ahead and ensure the process is terminated because it's getting approved, and then an email finally is sent stating approved. So this is what we do have available in terms of the entire flow, which can easily be achieved with the help of your Microsoft's Power Automate. So this is the list of steps that you will have to ensure you configure. Now, once you configure this, it will follow repeatedly without any mistakes, because the business flow is already set in the cloud. And whenever there is a trigger notice, that is an invoice which is available and needs manager's approval, it will automatically start the entire flow. And based on the actions that you specify, it will either get approved or will get rejected for sure. Now, whenever we talk about working with flows, there are primarily three types of flows available. And Power Automate works by creating these flows in three types. First is an event-driven flow. Second is business process flow. And third is your desktop flow. The cloud flows or event-driven flows, these are the flows that you build with a trigger that has one or more action available. Now, you have a list of connectors available, and there's a multitude of trigger and action already available for you, which you can ensure you select. And once you create these, you will be able to see it in the My Flow section of your Power Automate. Now, the only difference between My Flow and Teams Flow, these are two options that you will notice in your uh, Power Automate portal. My Flow is something that you have the ownership of, and Teams Flow is a kind of an ownership that belongs to the entire team. So it will have more than one owners available. So that's what you will be able to go ahead and ensure you see in the cloud flow. Second is when we talk about business process flows, right? Now, these flows are built to augment the experience when using model-driven apps and Dataverse. So you'll be able to go ahead and create a guided experience for your model-driven apps for sure. And finally, we have desktop flow, which primarily initially were known as UI flows. Now, these are robot processing automation flows that would allow you to easily record your completing actions on your desktop or within a web browser. And then basis those actions the completed actions, you can see then that the trigger for a flow is initiated for you to be able to go ahead and process anything that is based on the actions performed on your desktop. So that's how we have three different types of flows available. One is the cloud flow, which is event-driven flow. Second is business process flow. And third is a desktop flow. If you would want to look at one of the known customers case study, how they might have utilized the Power Automate, then it is the uh, uh, Komatsu, Australia. So it's a True Green's digital transformation strategy. Now, to provide better services, they built a new AI enabled virtual agent bot. So the virtual agent was built without writing a single code. Instead, they used Power Virtual Agents to be able to facilitate handling the routing of the customer requests and act based on the customer's intent as well. Uh, and to expose and interact maybe with the backend data which is required, they've used Power Automate. So they've used some hundreds of connectors that were available for Microsoft Power Platform to connect to the traditional data source as well. And using these capabilities, they had their first prototype um, created, and it was up and running in just 2 days. Again, without writing a single line of code. So that's what you easily can go to ensure you achieve with the help of Power Platforms. And in Power Platforms, we do have few services available like Power Apps and Power Automate. They also had systems that didn't have APIs to be used by the connectors. So for these systems, they leveraged the desktop flow. Um, which we just discussed what desktop flows are, right? So with the help of desktop flow, they could mimic the on-screen action that the customer service associates use to perform manually using the remote processing automation. Sorry, robotic processing automation. So this is what the Komatsu Australia has achieved with the help of Power Automate or uh, the Power Platforms related capabilities. Now, I'll do one thing. I'll quickly try to take us all through one of the portal. Just bear with me for a few seconds, where we will try to have a look at the Power Automate capabilities. I'll try to use make dot. That's the link that we might have to use to ensure that we are getting into the respective services. So I'll try to authenticate with one of the account that I have available over here, using which we will try to maybe have a quick look at creating a sample Power Automate flow. I'm just signing in with one of the admin credentials that I do have available here. And let's see if so it will ensure that it takes us through the page, which is make.powerautomate.com. And this is where Microsoft Power Automate is available. Now, waiting for the page to load. So if you look at this, this is what we do have available in terms of Power Automate, the home page. This is where you will be able to ensure you create any new flows. If in case you already have created the flows, you will see them available in this section. That is cloud flows, desktop flows, and any flow that might have been shared with you that will be listed over here. Now, there are multiple templates already available for you, which you can go ahead and ensure you search or select from the list. Maybe the topic, anything that is shared with me for remote work or some approval based processes or button based kind of activities dependent on email, calendar, mobile, some data collection, right? All these details are definitely available over here for us. Now, one of the simplest example that maybe I'll quickly try to show you is um, trying to save Office 365 email attachment to specified OneDrive for Business folder, right? So I'll just go ahead and do that. So if you look at this, this is one of the template that I'm using. Now over here, what it will try to do is whenever there is an email received and the email has an attachment, maybe copy the same email also into the OneDrive for Business folder. So to be able to verify that, let me do one thing. I'll try to get into the homepage of my services, and I'm positive it will ensure it will take me to the homepage, from where I'll quickly try to redirect to the OneDrive section, which is definitely available over here. If you look at the OneDrive that I have, at the moment, I believe in terms of my files, I am sure it just has something called as apps available, but again, nothing much to be able to go ahead and view, right? In my OneDrive for Business. Now, with the help of, and I also will try to look at the Outlook, which is my Office 365 email. So I'm trying to check if this has anything important. These are all just standard emails that are received as an administrator. Now let's do one thing. We'll try to configure this. That is, whenever there is an email received which has an attachment, right? Maybe from a specific client or a person, you create a folder in OneDrive for Business and add that attachment over there. So you can ensure that you sign in to both these services for providing appropriate permissions, which I just am authenticating over here. And the second one as well, which is for OneDrive for Business. Now, you see the connection definitely is established, so we can quickly click on continue. Now, this is the place where you easily will be able to go ahead and create your respective flow for sure. So on new email, which is, if you click on it, should it include attachment? I'll say yes, right? Importance, any is okay. Only with the attachment? Yes, I would want this to have only with the attachment, right? And where maybe inside the inbox itself, whenever the user will receive an email which includes attachment, then that's the condition that we just have specified. So if the condition is true, apply to each attachment from the specific user, create a file when the condition is satisfied, which is right. Maybe what will be the file name? It says the file name will be something like this. Apply to each. I will go ahead and provide a file name, which is going to be, let's say, sorry, my bad, not here. I'll try to search dynamic content, which is attachment name is the uh, thing that I'm adding over here. And file content, again, let me also quickly search for file content, which will be the dynamic content in the list, which is attachment content is what I just have selected, and I have added it, right? So for true, it will ensure it creates the file and whatever is the name of the file. And if the condition is false, then create file when condition is not met. So over here, if you look at this, we would not want any file to be created, right? Because it will, I think, for false, I'll just ensure I do not want the file to be created. So I'll just maybe delete this action as well. Just whenever it's true, ensure that there is a file created. Else, just don't go ahead and create it. Let us try to save the flow and see if it provides us with the intended action. It does say your flow is ready to go. We recommend that you go ahead and test this, is what it is trying to say. I'll just quickly click on test over here, and I'll say manually quickly run a small test. So it will try to see if it works. Um, so waiting for this thing to when this is running the test. Meanwhile, I'll quickly do one thing. I'll try to create a new sample file on my desktop. I think I do have the sample file already available, which is book1.xl. I'll change it to yeah, I just have uploaded that. And let's do one thing. From this account, right? I'll quickly click on new email. I'll send it to the same user account. We'll try to attach a file which will be on, maybe let's say desktop, and that is users list. One of the Excel sheet I'm just trying to add, which is user list.csv, right? Users list in the organization. That's what I just have added. And let's ensure we send this email. At the moment I've sent the email, the user should go ahead and receive it. Once this user receives the email, which definitely has an attachment, so it will try to verify that piece of information to see if there is an attachment available. If it finds the attachment in the email, and if it processes it, it will try to upload the file in the OneDrive as well. So if I try to quickly verify OneDrive, you see users list.csv is automatically added over here. Why did it add? Because we have created a flow in a way that it will meet the entire requirements. And over here, if you look at this, it processed all of these in, I'll say, less than 5 seconds, because 2 seconds was to verify the condition, 1 second over here and 1 second over here. So that's what we have, everything done in less than 5 seconds. And the file was available in our OneDrive for Business. This was one of the simplest example of what Power Automate can go ahead and do. If you look at the list of capabilities that it has, you will be able to see you can actually connect to a lot of connectors. You will be able to use a lot of templates. Now, when we say templates, not necessarily just be available from Microsoft, but from other third-party applications as well. One of it talks about save Gmail attachment to Dropbox. Now, for both of them, Microsoft is not even linked to each other. Gmail is a third party, Dropbox also is third party. But then Microsoft will ensure it facilitates the uh, overall process. That is, any email which will have some attachment available will get saved in your Dropbox folder. We similarly have Gmail to Google Drive. Twitter also is there, where if someone tweets on the internet about your product, maybe notify your user accounts. So that's how you will be able to see a lot of templates already available over here. If in case you think your situation does not meet the needed template, you will be able to create things from scratch as well, which is just go ahead and quickly click on create, where you have an option. What is it that you're trying to create? Is it an instant cloud flow, automated cloud flow, or scheduled cloud flow, right? Maybe I'll just go for instant cloud flow and give it a name, test flow. And how to go ahead and trigger the flow is what is available over here. Once it sorry, my bad, spelling mistake here. Yeah. Do you want to manually trigger a flow? I'll just select that and maybe quickly get this created. Now over here, it will have everything blank. You will specify what is it that you are connecting it to. Maybe first ensure that you are connecting or adding an input, right? What is your trigger? Is it email, file? Yes, no. I mean, there are options available using which you can ensure you create your flow for sure. If you need help from Copilot, that also is a possibility. Now everything is integrated with Copilot, so Copilot will ensure it provides you with all the needed information, and you easily will be able to get help in whatever kind of flow or Power Automate flows that you are planning for. You will be able to create them without any problems. So this is pretty much the kind of introduction that we had for both the topics. First one was related to Power Apps, where we talked about two different different types of apps available. One is Canvas app, which is non-data driven app, and second is a model driven app, which is data driven app from Microsoft's Dataverse. And second type of application that we did look at, that is again the introduction, was related to Power Automate, where we did talk about three different types of apps available. One is event driven app, second is business process flows, and third is the desktop flow. So this is something that I just wanted to cover in the introductory session. I'll just quickly pause for a minute over here and give you 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes of the session, to see if there are any queries or questions that you might want to go ahead and get them answered. But with this, I'll just take a pause to see if there are any questions. Are there more sessions to cover more details about Power Apps or Automate? So this just definitely was an introduction. I mean, we do have more detailed version of all of these definitely available. I believe the chat has the phone number that is for detailed enrollment for your I mean classes, I believe. Um, our team member has also joined the call. Maybe I'll request them to drop in the details in the chat again. Maybe you can get in touch with them for sure. I believe this is what you can definitely reach out to. The phone number is mentioned, and you definitely will go ahead and get more information on detailed session on Power Automate and Power Platforms. Any other questions, team? Please do let me know. All right, then, if we do not have any questions, I think this is where we'll end the session. And the details for enrollment, and maybe if you are looking for more detailed session, the details have already been added in the chat. Please do reach out to the team, and they will definitely guide you on how we move forward. So thank you so much, team, for joining me on this call today, and have a good evening. Thank you.